Hi guys! In previous section we decided to use Java and TestNG to create our first login test. Today we are starting section number 3, Troubleshooting. In this section we will learn how to wait for elements appear or disappear on the page, how to work with hidden elements on the page, what to do when we see stale element reference exception in our test, and we'll look at other possible issues and how to prevent them from happening. Today, in this video, we will learn how to wait for elements on the page. If we open our test that we created in previous section, we can see that we have here sleep command. This is basically a static wait, and it can be used in test, but there are much better ways to wait for something when we run tests. Using static sleep methods are not recommended and should be used only in situations where other wait methods are not available. In our case, removing static wait should not break test, but let's replace it with better wait command just in case. So first, let's comment out our static wait. So if you don't know how to comment out the section of the code, here's how you do it. So this is how we comment just one lane, and this is how we comment out the whole section. And now, instead of this thread sleep, let's use Webdriver Wait. So let's type next, Webdriver Wait, let's call it wait, equals new Webdriver Wait. And it needs driver and time in seconds, so let's put 10 seconds. Unfortunately, we cannot import Webdriver Wait just yet. First, we need to make some changes in our pom.xml file. So let's open pom file. So here in our pom.xml file we have Selenium Chrome driver dependency, but in order to use Webdriver Wait we need Selenium support dependency. But instead of adding another dependency, let's just replace Selenium Chrome driver dependency with Selenium Java dependency, which include both Selenium Chrome driver and Selenium support. Let's open Selenium Java Maven repository page. So here's the URL. Click on latest version and copy dependency. In Eclipse, in our pom.xml file, let's just replace Selenium Chrome driver with Selenium Java and Ctrl-Shift-F to format our tests to look better and save. Okay, so building workspace, done. We have some errors. Let's switch back to first test, and now when you hover over Webdriver Wait, now we can import Webdriver Wait from Selenium Support UI. So let's import and save. Now let's use our wait to wait for this logout button to be present on the page. So let's type next, wait until, and here we will use expected conditions. Presence of element located. So we will wait for presence of our logout button element, and let's use this xpath. So for the locator let's put the xpath and semicolon at the end. Now when we run our test on this lane, Webdriver will wait for this element to be present on the page before going to the next step. Now let's run our test. So our run configuration, start, and test should work just fine as before when we used thread sleep. Okay, so Chrome driver opened, page opened, logged in, and page closed. And what we see here in the console, build success, test run 1 fails 0. Now let's use another example where test will fail unless we wait. Let's create new test class and call it Troubleshooting. So here under same package, right click, select new class and Troubleshooting and finish. Here inside this class let's create test method. So test annotation, public void, let's call it wait test. And inside, so we need to create driver. Let's copy it from our first test here. So creating driver, opening page, copy here, paste here, Ctrl-Shift-F to format. The page will be different, so let's remove it for now and last driver quit and save. Now I need to import test annotation, save again. Okay, good. Now let's open in the browser our new page that we will test in this test. So same URL and then dynamic loading /2. Here on this page, if we click start button, we see this loading bar, and then after a few seconds we see hello world text. Now go back to Eclipse and continue our test with next steps. So first of all, this is the URL we'll have to open. After we open this URL, click on start button. So you will need to describe button element, click on it, and then add verification that after click there is the element with ID finish that contains text hello world. So this is what you should have in your test now. So driver get this URL, then I have this command click in start button here, so I described start button as web element. I used XPath to find it, so just the element button, click on it, and then verification hello world text. So web element finish text, I found it by ID finish, and then assertion that this finish text get text equals hello world. Or you also could have something like that, so string text equals finish text get text, and then text equals hello world. And if it's false, then the message will print hello world text is not present on the page. Before we can run our test, we need to create new run configuration, because if we will use our last configuration, it will run our first test. So to run our troubleshooting test, let's create new configuration. Let's call it troubleshooting test. Same workspace. And here, before clean test, we need to put next. Test equals and troubleshooting. So now this configuration, when we save it, it will know that this is the class, this is the test that will need to be executed. So it will run only tests in troubleshooting class. So apply, save and run. Test started, troubleshooting, Chrome driver started, loaded the page, loading, and we see already errors here. And our Chrome driver stays open because test failed and it never got to execute driver quit command. So let's close it manually and let's see what the error says. So build failure, failures 1, scroll up, and here, so page opened, and then wait test failed with no such element exception. And this exception happened, let's see, on this class line number 27. So let's double click. So here, no such element. Test failed because it could not find this element with ID finish. This happens because Webdriver tries to find this element before it's on the page. That's why we need to add waits. Using thread sleep here is not a good option. Waiting, let's say 10 seconds, may not be enough in one case or too long in other case, which will increase execution time of our tests. So let's add Webdriver Wait. Let's go to our first test and copy Webdriver Waits from here. Let's add comment waiting for finish element or hello world. Now, so find element by ID finish. So let's wait for element with ID finish. Save. And let's run again. Chrome driver started. Okay, page opened. It's not failed yet, so it's waiting. And now test passed. So in console we see run 1 fails 0. So now, before getting finished text element here, Webdriver first will wait for this expected condition. So Webdriver will wait for presence of this element before going to next step. There are many other expected conditions we can wait for. For example, element to be clickable. This, in addition to presence, will check that we can click on an element. It's good to use before we click on elements. Visibility off. This is similar to what we used, but in addition to presence, it will check if element is visible. We will talk more about this in our next video. Invisibility off. If we need to make sure that some element will disappear from the page before making next step in our test, we can use this expected condition in wait. Text to be present in element. We could use it in our example, since we were verifying text in that element in our assertion. Frame to be available and switch to it. If the new page contains frames and our element that we need to use next is inside of that frame. And many others. Today we used explicit wait in our example, but there is also implicit wait available in WebDriver. We will learn more about these two types of waits in future videos.